So if you have a look at almost every element of how we went to market, the research did not tell us that at all. Actually, we went the complete opposite of what the research did.
Welcome back to Vision Voices and our WiseBites series. In our last conversation with Salvatore Caizzone, we touched a raw nerve. The biggest breakthroughs rarely come from traditional research. They come from leaders who have spent years in the trenches and know how to read markets beyond the data. Today, I'm sitting with someone who's lived that reality for decades. Kristin Veriga has built his entire career in global FMCG and brand marketing. He knows research from the inside. He has seen it, how it guides, how it misleads, and where the real consumer truths tend to hide. And now, he's taken everything he's learned and is reapplying it to something far more ambitious. Through KARMIC Global, he's tackling one of the world's biggest solvable problems, food waste. It's a $1 trillion opportunity, and he's attacking it with science, sustainability, and a business model designed for impact. KARMIC isn't a buzzword venture, it's a circular economy engine built on real IP, real unit economics, and a clear path from shrimp waste to food security. This conversation is about what happens when someone from a deep FMCG and brand pedigree decides to rewrite the rules of impact business. It's about how intuition, science, and purpose come together to create scalable change. Let's dive right in. Kristin, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Tom.
It's an absolute pleasure, Kristin. I want to build on a previous WiseBite episode from Salvatore Caizzone, where he was speaking about market research and how real breakthroughs never really come from research findings, but from pure human instinct. Do you agree?
Yeah. I mean, I think to a certain extent, research can inform the past, and it can confirm what can sometimes be, in hindsight, relatively obvious. So I'll take, for example, when I was working on Cillit Bang or Easy Off Bang, Easy Off Bam, depending on where you were in the world, we were given like the challenge was we need to get into cleaning products. Yeah. Now, research can tell you really simple things like cleaning efficacy is important. Convenience is important. I mean, all of this is, I guess, in some respects, quite obvious. What it doesn't tell you to do is how can you reframe those and create real distinctive competitive advantage. Yeah. And so as we were going down the path of Cillit Bang, actually everything we did, the research would have told us under no circumstances go down this path. Yeah. We went and had a look at all the category triggers, the category visuals, everything like this. And actually we reframed almost everything 180 degrees versus what the research told us. So if you have a look at almost every element of how we went to market, the research did not tell us that at all. Actually, we went the complete opposite of what the research did, but it created something that really stuck with consumers. It created the cut through. Now, if we had have shown that to consumers, I'm sure they would have failed for sure, because people gravitate to what they're used to.
What sort of a culture that operated in the business allowed you to get away with something like that? I mean, normally in a large multinational corporation, in a metrics organization, that would have taken a lot to basically get through the hierarchy.
There were lots of people saying this is not going to work. So what our approach was, we took a lead market and we actually executed. Yeah. And the best research is not research that in a typical sense. The best research is actually take action and go and see people actually take their wallet out and pay for what you're doing. And it was only after the success we chose Hungary and Germany. So there was one sort of smaller market and one more developed market. And actually the model played out in both almost exactly the same. And it was only after that that we really put the hammer down. And I think we rolled out into 74 countries in 6 months. It was a very aggressive push. But the design was, okay, now we got alignment, and the alignment we got was you can go and test in these markets. There's research in the traditional way, and then there's research in actual market data. And the market data will win every time.
But in building that proposition, how much of it was, research-led? How much of it was just pure, creation, human instinct, and creativity?
It was primarily human instinct and creativity. I mean, we used to sit in the R&D lab with just a bunch of dirt and spraying things on and saw what gave the wow. We all came in with what if we just wow people with how this cleans? And it was only after iteration of that in market that we were able to combine and say, okay, now we know what the model works. And then we could roll that out.
Would you agree then, therefore, that I think the basic truths, the basic drivers, and the basic understanding of the category clearly came from, well-researched
deep research, UNAs and, the standard types of things, of course.
But what you do with it after that is clearly making the breakthroughs happen, right?
It's intuition, it's creativity. And look, I was very, very fortunate to work with people who gave you the space to do that creativity. Even within a large multinational organization, there was space to take risk. And that's an incredibly powerful leadership trait. And I was very, very lucky to have that.